What is going on, guys? Welcome to Big Beard and Friends episode 232. That's 232 Fridays that you have dealt with my perfect for radio face. Anyway, that's where you insert the laugh there. Anyway, on this Friday, August the 30th, 2024, here at 8 o'clock, you're watching me. Or you could be watching this in the repeat. First and foremost, as I do every show, I like to bring you facts. I like to bring you definitions. I like to bring you life situations and share with my experiences that have helped me through life, the ones that have made me become a better person and gain wisdom. Those situations that I have, and some from other people, I like to share that. But like I always say at the beginning of every show, I hope that whatever you are going through, whatever it may be, a lot of us are going through some bad times right now. A lot of us are in a place, and I don't even mean physically, I'm talking mentally. We don't have to look far to see that someone else is sharing what we're going through, or they're doing their own thing. So if that's you, and this evening that you are down and out and you just decided to find this or turn to this or this video, it's not the best video podcast you'll ever see. I call it my passion project. I shoot it with a small GoPro every now and then when my program is right, which I'm still working on. And I shoot it live every Friday. So if that's you and you're down and out and you stumbled across this, or you're just giving it a shot for the first time, stay tuned. Maybe I can tell you something, teach you something, learn from me. So I will speak on that. And maybe I'll just give you some facts. Who knows? I hope that whatever it is, I hope you heal from the things that you do not talk about, because I think that is an important thing that we forget, that people don't talk about everything. Hell, most people put on the guise of a smile, and that's what they want. They want people to believe that everything is all right, and we all know that we all don't have it together. Some of us just do a better job at showing and acting like it. Acting like you got it all together. Acting like stuff is, copacetic in life where it's not or where it ain't. So, but maturity and wisdom go good together. Kind of like what I want to talk about tonight, responsibility. Now, responsibility, when we think of it like of having a duty, or having control, or to deal with something or someone. We think about that. We think about it takes, we automatically know that it, when you have that duty, that responsibility, that's no matter what it is, that's usually followed by something that's very important. If you have a child, you're responsible, you have that duty, that responsibility for that child. If you have a wife, if you have a dog, if you have a goldfish, if you have an animal, if you have a car, if you have bills, I can go on and on and on and name anything. You got to have responsibility. I think that that state or fact of being accountable or to blame for something. That's one of the other definitions. A lot of people have asked, and I say a lot of people, I've talked to people, I've done research, I've asked Google, I've done online, and I really have for a lot of these shows, but I'm hearing that they want to know what is the true meaning, and it is that quality of state of being responsible. Okay, you got to have that morale, that mental accountability that you know that you have within you. Responsibilities, though, come with the more deeper meaning. than just one of those, oh, look at us. I have responsibilities. I'm still not going to do it. No, it's a duty or task that you are required or expected to do. Like be there. Show up. If you're a father, be a father. If you're a mother, be a mother. Those kind of responsibilities. Now, I'm not saying everybody's got it easy and everybody's got it bad. I don't know, from one person to the next. But that quality of a person who can be trusted and to do what is expected and required, I'm just telling you. That doesn't blow your mind that accountable, amenable, answerable, and liable person. We depend on, we know people like that. And see, I could go on and on and on, folks, about responsibility or responsibilities. But how about the main idea of responsibility? How about that? What is the main idea that we get? Do you think about this? Do you ever wonder? Responsibility actually refers to an obligation to perform certain functions in order to achieve certain results. Hold yourself accountable. Hold your friend accountable. But more so deep, give yourself responsibility. We all got it. Apply it. What makes someone responsible? It's being accountable for one's actions, to know and follow various rules, laws, conducts, codes, whatever it may be. Just knowing that you have duties. I mean, I can only say so much about it. But I do know that a lot of people lack the responsibility to take care of situations that they are the product of, and they are the reason that they are in the state they are in, and a lot of them do not want to take responsibility. Folks, I can't speak for everybody, but reliable and dependable and trustworthy, those go a long way, right? Somebody who's responsible enough, you might hand keys to, right? To your shop, to your home, to your business. At one time, I was responsible enough that they gave me keys to a business, and I opened and closed it. I've done that several times, but I'm saying that was my responsibility. They knew I was dependable. They knew I was reliable. At the same time, I was proactive. One boss said that I was proactive, identifying and addressing problems. Okay, so I seen them ahead of time. I took, one step ahead always, and I was like, well, I was working on cars at this particular, and I'm like, hey, I'm working on cars. I don't want to mess that up. That's people's second most prized possession, other than their car being their first, in my hands, and I don't want to mess that up. Working on oil, changing oil and fluids, not to mention all the courtesy stuff like tires and windows and radiator fluid and washer fluid and vacuuming, all that good stuff that comes with oil changes. If that's you, I don't know. Did you know there are a lot of habits of responsible people. Let's talk about that. They don't make excuses. There's no excuse. It's just someone is responsible. That's a habit of a responsible person. And they organize their lives. So they don't make excuses. They organize their life. And the third thing is they are on time. Somebody said, if you're on time, you're late. Okay. Each one to their own. They cancel plans ahead of time. That's a habit of a responsible person. They control their emotions. They don't complain. They know trust needs to be earned. And finally, they are consistent. They don't make excuses. Those are like 11 habits. Maybe you could apply that to your, if that's you and you're looking for things, maybe you can apply that to your life. 11 habits, once again, real quick, I'll skim over it again, of responsible people are, 1, they don't make excuses. 2, they organize their lives. 3, they are on time. 4, they cancel plans ahead of time. 5, they control their emotions. 6, they don't complain. 7, they know trust needs to be earned. And 8, they are consistent. As we go on and I do this, I don't always know what I'm going to say when I'm on these shows. I don't always give it ahead of time. I give a topic and I give myself. But number 9 on the list is a very, very, very important thing. When it comes to the list of the 11, number 9 is one of those things I think that steps on people's toes. But they admit their mistakes. I mean, face it. There's something very brave about coolly admitting your mistakes, folks. And that's just what responsible people do. When you have responsible person doing responsible things which give them responsibility, that moment they realize something went wrong or they screwed up, they own up to it. That's a gift in itself. I don't really particularly care for a person that keeps making excuses, or, you know, you look at a person different if they, you know, they've done something wrong and they just want to admit it, and all they can ever tell you is, because I didn't. Whatever. But if you do the same, I'm telling you, people are less likely to get mad, more likely to work with you, and they'll fix the issue. There is that underlying, admit your mistakes. I think that's a deep thing to do, especially if it's one of those, that's pretty deep. They're self-disciplined people. They have responsibilities. It's kind of hard to fathom that we can have so much self-discipline. I'm sure you can see, like, the whole theme is like willpower. And like I said, if a responsible person wants to make a change, they do it. They're able to do it because of the self-discipline, with determined to themselves that that's what they got to do, and that's definitely a learned trait. If you guys wanted to follow along or ever get more information where I'm getting this information tonight, it's from bustle.com, bustle.com. The first steps often lies in dealing with a little bit of discomfort. Forbes magazine had an editor in there, Amy Moore, and she said it's normal to want to avoid pain and discomfort, but trying to eliminate all discomfort will only reinforce to yourself that you can't handle the stress. But you can handle little things and difficult things like getting up earlier if you put your mind to it. Responsibility goes a long way. Finally, on that list, the number 11 is they don't procrastinate. Maybe that's you. Maybe this whole list is you. Responsibility actually isn't magic or something you're initially born with. It's something that's earned, and it's worked hard for. sometimes it's a privilege. That means if you wanted to, you could take responsibility yourself. There's so many people, I say, that walk around, and I said it earlier at the beginning of the show, that walk around with the guise of a smile thinking everything is okay, and they don't know what it's like to have that state or fact of being responsible. The full meaning to have control and authority over something or someone and the duty of taking care of it, him or her. What happens as you get older? People around you get older, right? You take responsibility. Take care of your mother, take care of your father. That's your responsibility. You have children, I said, you get up, you see them off to school, you give them their lunches, you give them a little pep talk. Sometimes it doesn't always go right in the morning, but you give them that pep talk, you tell them that they are loved, you give them that inspiration, you send them out the door, you send them on their way. That's my responsibility. I don't know. Kids just always come to mind when I think of responsibility. Maybe that's me. I think of bills, I think of working, but I think of children. I think that some people, I don't know how they do it, but they just don't care enough about their children. So they might not get the responsibility part, but if you were responsible enough to have a child, you should have enough responsibility to take care of that child. Now, I don't know anybody in general about that right now, but I've experienced things. I've seen family, friends. I've heard friends of friends, mutual friends, and they always talk about, they always know somebody, or so it seems, that just don't care about their kids. And they might have 6 kids, they might have 5 kids, they might have kids who have kids, and they just don't care. And it always comes down with, oh, well, they're not responsible enough. When you have stuff in your life that means something, like quality management, for instance, is a good place. That means something. That job means something. We'll use that as an example. It's important that you take that responsibility for your actions. I told somebody one time about like it was their duty, and they were in management. I'm trying to think about what I'm saying first so I don't give things away. But he was in basically quality management and told him that he's accountable for the outcome of what it comes from it. That was his duty. If you're responsible for something, you're responsible for and held accountable for that outcome of that, where he was working. Anyway, I gave him some advice I thought was advice, and I simply just said, hey, I wouldn't do said stuff if I was you, and I wouldn't say this, you can do what you want, but it's not going to look good. He did it anyway, it didn't look good, and they fired him. And did they fire him for that reason? I don't know, but I do know that when I mentioned it to him, this was like 20 years ago, when I mentioned it to him, he changed. He changed, like he did not want to care anymore. And I was thinking, well, dude, you should be responsible, do the right thing, and show them that you can be trusted. And he didn't, he couldn't do it. A lot of us have responsibilities It's funny when I say that, I think of the Rugrats show, Responsibilities, the part, Anyway, Rugrats, they always let me know that a true leader takes responsibility for their team. He didn't actually say that, but if you've seen them, you'll know. No, but a true leader does take responsibilities for their team and helps them achieve goals. And sometimes if you're in a group and say in school, when you have school, you have to buddy up, get in teams, partner up. You're taking responsibility. I think it's important to have responsibility in everyday life. Everyday life, we have responsibility, whether we face it, want to do it or not. You get up, you go to work, you go to school, you go to college, you go to your job, wherever it may be. And I know I said work and job, but I mean your job, let me say your office job, your indoor, outdoor job, whatever it may be. You are a responsible person. You get up, you eat breakfast, or you take a shower, you get dressed. That's responsibility. A lot of the times we have lackings of that. People lack that responsibility. It's sad to say that we live in a world where people say, oh, I'm free to do what I want. I'm free to do what I want. You are not free from the consequences of your actions. You still must be held accountable and be responsible for whatever comes your way. That was really like I was speaking to myself there. There's a lot of times where I did not hold my end in life and was responsible. One of the things that I was responsible about, I will share and be transparent here for a moment, is 3 years ago almost, I quit drinking. I was responsible enough to know that I was holding myself accountable. And I had said that earlier I mentioned a mental accountability, that reliability and trustworthiness. You can realize if you don't have that or not. I got in a spot where the drinking was just, and I always say this, those who have heard this have heard it, but a good friend of mine told me, I didn't realize that you had a problem. I didn't think you did. You never showed it. We thought you were great. We just thought you were an average, And I told him, so I say this now, what I heard when he said that. When he told me, oh man, well, I didn't know that I didn't think you had a problem. What I heard was, I hid it well. I was being irresponsible, giving myself no moral or legal mental accountability on anything. And that was a hard thing to do, to own up to it. But I had said, with me, it was like several, it was like 6 months where I battled with seeing that I was consuming more alcohol. Now, I know everybody's different. Everybody's like, oh, well, you didn't do this. I'm not going to get into it bad, but I got to where at times I would get in my car drinking. Not while I was doing it. I was irresponsible. So to stay on track and to talk about responsibility tonight, and I keep saying that responsibility refers to the duty of having authority or control over something or someone. Usually a boss has responsibility over the workers, over his employees, over their finances, over their scheduling. Usually. It was the Britannica Dictionary defined the responsibility as the state of being the person who caused something to happen. He accepted full responsibility for the accident. He admitted the accident was his fault, something like that. Those are great examples. Those are everyday life examples. But I try to touch tonight that the responsibility that we need is holding, once again, yourself responsible. Knowing that your next move you should be thinking, is this for my better? Is this for the good in me? Be responsible. If you're in a relationship right now, you want to say something to your spouse, your companion, your boyfriend, your girlfriend, say it. I know it's not easy, but I'm saying be responsible enough. Because I promise, if you can admit certain things, people will tend, I said this earlier tonight, they will tend to help you more. Try to find a solution. I think I was speaking in the terms of jobs and office earlier, but it's true. How do you define, if you were asking yourself and you wanted to know, well, what does he always talk about, a responsible person? How do you define a responsible person? Well, if you had to say, if I had to say a word, accountable. That's my word for responsibility. Usually, all these words can be like subject to being held to account. But having that kind of responsibilities implies that holding a specific office or duty or trust, it can go a long way. Be responsible in your life. I don't know how to keep talking about it tonight. I mean, speaking from my experiences, I'm reading a little bit, I'm telling stories. It's all pulled from every cardinal direction, at least in my life, and I like to share these things. Responsibility sounds scary. It's because it is, folks. Having said responsibility is a very, very scary thing. A lot of people will never understand what it's like. Each one to their own. I don't know. That's about all I got to say about that tonight. They are many of us that are going through things that we are not responsible for, but you can still tell them to be responsible in doing the right thing, no matter what it is. I hope tonight that I just, if anything, gave you a little more info than you knew before. I'm simply reading tonight, and I have went to everywhere from Google to the internet, and you can also go and check out the habits of a responsible person. Again, the 11 habits at bustle.com. That's bustle.com. And I know there's 3 words that take us out of here week after week after week, and I kind of forget those words. but I think I got them. I'm not real sure. Oh, if you are going to find yourself in a spot, I got to share certain things before I go. You're going to find yourself in a spot that you don't want to be in. Look at yourself. Tell yourself, ask yourself, is that where you want to be? I know that's like, I'm adding this at the end. Let me tell you something. There are people who literally smile in your face because they are hurting and they don't want to be a burden to you. And if we don't know all of that, we don't know who they are, but maybe the character traits that I'm talking about and the habits of a responsible person, maybe you could share that with them. Maybe you can let them know that it will be okay. I give you these facts, I give you these topics every time I speak, but I promise you, it goes so much more deeper than we know when it comes to people's emotions and mental status. There are tons and tons and tons of people. Tons. That you never will know and never can tell that they are going through some hard times because they are good. I keep saying that. I want to emphasize that and put that out there like that because they're good at hiding it. We have to even hold yourself responsible by saying something in a nice fashion. Be kind to everybody. I always say on the side of my car, sure, I have 3 honks for kindness, but you don't even have to do that. Don't draw on your car. Don't do things like that. But I tell you what, you can be kind. Give yourself that kindness that you need. Hold yourself responsible enough to know that people need to hear. They need to hear it's okay. They need to hear that they need to be held responsible. They need to realize that they have to be. And you yourself putting out a good vibe, putting out a good image, putting out a good thing out there will cause people as well. I don't know. I feel like I'm babbling now, but I promise there's so many people out there. Those 3 words back to I'm saying once again, love, peace, chicken grease. I'll see you guys here next week. Thanks for watching.